An IRS audit is a great American fear that some of us will have to face this year.
You get a very scared feeling down in the pit of your stomach when the IRS calls and says, "We want to talk to you."
That's a feeling that millions of people experience, says Jack Edwards.
It's an image that's been built up for years and years and years. And it is very difficult for us to break that image down and say, we're the good guys, you know. Here we are. To know us is to love us.
But as taxpayers like you and I are routinely filing our tax returns, the Internal Revenue Service is preparing to make 13,000 audits this year here in Iowa alone.
We have just regularly selected audits in which our computer selects X number of returns every year based on a computer score.
Of the selected tax returns, the IRS will pick a few individuals in each income bracket whose returns have the most questionable claims. Of the 13,000 audits to be done, 10,000 will be individual returns and the remainder will be business returns.
Contrary to popular belief, the IRS does not keep a running list of individuals to audit every year. However, there are some people that are more susceptible to an audit, those involved in abusive tax shelters and tax protesters.
Edwards says any tax shelter entered into solely for the purpose of taxes, which means it has little or no economic benefits, is probably abusive. Those are the people who generally have problems at audit time. They can expect an in-depth audit of their financial background, and their case could be sent to the U.S. Attorney General's office for prosecution.
In the past, the result had been generally a stiff fine and probation. We did have some jail sentences, but the jail sentences are becoming more prevalent now.
Most audits don't end up in such dramatic fashion. Bart Shore, who filed a fairly simplistic return, spent half the day in the IRS office being audited in an orderly fashion. But if you haven't kept good records, you're in for some difficulties.
I had to sit there and try and retrace everything I did in 1982. And mind you, this was 1984. They're asking me to go back 2 years and figure everything out. It's like impossible.
Shore ended up paying for every claim he couldn't back up with a receipt. On the other hand, sales manager Dirk Keller hasn't received the results of his audit. People in his line of work are particularly susceptible to being audited. They have to keep accurate records of both business miles and business meals, two deductions the IRS feel are easy to cheat on.
I was treated real nice. It took about 2 hours, and the lady that worked with me was very nice, understanding, helpful.
In retrospect, Keller, who considers himself an organizer, is more meticulous than ever as a result of his audit. He offers this advice.
Keep every receipt you ever get, ever. It's just a good habit to keep.
Lynn Blades for Iowa Tonight.